To be careful, not to wear pants, ladies, that are so tight it looked like an artist painted those pants on you, that they're so tight that the whole family had to help you pull them up, so tight, and you got too much back there for them size, and you're displaying what I call a plumber butt, and if you know what a plumber butt is, it's not covering all your, you still got stuff showing that everybody don't need to be seeing when you walking in public. Are y'all helping me? Not to condemn you. That might be the only pair of pants you have. And all I'm saying is that, you have to be cautious, because whatever you're willing to show, then some man might look at you and he may think that you're willing to share what you're showing. And that might be the reason why you continue to draw that same kind of sorry man. It might be the reason why you keep drawing that same type of fella. He fine, but he broke. He got good hair, but he ain't got a job. He dressed well, but he can't buy you no clothes. It's the same kind of guy. Can I talk to you from a father's heart? It's the same kind of guy. Same kind of fella. And sometimes you just may have to examine how you're displaying yourself. Great heart, you're a lovely woman and have a lot to offer, but maybe your mama didn't know how to tell you how to prepare the present, how to wrap the present and to put the bow on it so it is presentable, and a respectful man will look at you and can probably think that she has something to offer because of how she presents herself. And I realize we live in a time where a lot of skin showing and everybody want to show skin, but some people still like stuff privately covered so that they can be the one to unwrap the present to see what's in the box in a private moment. I'm trying to talk to you. I'm trying. I know this is a very interesting time. But even more so, while we should stand out different, that when people look at us who are Christians, they tell right away something's different about you. I can't figure it out, but around the office, everybody cussing, and I've never heard you cuss. And you say to them, oh, it's not because I can't. I met Jesus, made him Lord of my life, and I went ahead and separated from cuss, and I buried the book of cuss in my backyard, and I don't talk like that anymore. And what I did after that, I thought, well, maybe I can choose some better words and increase my vocabulary and make use of my intelligence to be able to express myself other than using a cuss word. Now, here's where we got to be careful. We've got to be cautious in the public, that when people notice our living epistle, that we don't take our changes and use it to beat up other people. Well, they're sinners. They may not know that they are, but they don't need you to beat them up like that. And that's why so many folks don't want to have nothing to do with church people, because we won't give things time to change. It didn't take you one night to get where you are. And now all of a sudden you want to beat up on somebody else because they can't overnight turn into you. And what we got to do is learn how to just allow our light to shine instead of shining it on somebody. Allow it to shine. Let people notice that there is a difference in your life. And when they ask, with a gentle, loving way, share with them, oh, I used to be just crazy. And whoo, I thought I was going to lose my life. And one day I decided to go to church. Didn't want to go to no church. And I ended up at the church, and the word got in, and it changed my life. And that's why I'm so full of love. And I just want to tell you, I love you. Find something good to say about people, but don't take the Bible. Your sanctification is not licensed for you to beat up on people because they haven't reached that place that you are. And see, what happens is they're going to watch you because you're that living epistle. They don't read the Bible, but they read you. And the reason why you don't want to beat people up is because when you have a bad day and you beat people up, they're just going to call you a hypocrite. And you will have an interesting day. The Bible talks about an evil day come for everybody. You know, if you treat people wrong, then they're going to get you back. And you come in there, you know, on a bad day, and they say, oh, what happened to your faith? But if you treat people right, then they'll come up to you and say, everything's all right. I don't know none of that Bible or nothing, but if you need anything, you know, let me know, because you've always been nice to me. And you never preached at me, and you never tried to shove it down my throat, and you never tried to make me do this and you never tried to make me feel like I was inferior when I was around you. You always made me feel better than even yourself, and I appreciate that. Could I go to church with you one Sunday? Got to learn how to be patient with folks. Got to learn how to just say, well, I know they crazy, and I know they done, but I'm going to love them. I'm going to love them. And when they start talking stuff, I'm just going to say, you know, praise. Well, what's wrong with you? You don't cuss? You don't cuss? No. Tell me, you ain't cussed not one time since last week? Are y'all following what I'm saying? Sanctification, a separation, watch this, and here's the emphasis I want you to get in this series. Sanctification, a separation, watch this, unto God. No, I don't want to talk about what you're coming out of. I just want you to turn and go to God. Oh, but you don't we need to talk about what I'm doing? No, I want you to turn and go to God. Just focus on going to God. All kinds of stuff trying to pull you back. I'm going to God. I'm separating unto God. If you in the world, if you can just turn and lean, I believe he'll throw a hand out there for you. I believe he'll throw a rope out there for you. Sometimes you'll need a help. But sanctification, a separation unto God. It is the process of God's grace or favor. Now watch this. Here's God giving you a favor. It's a process of God's grace and favor by which the believer is separated from sin, a process of being separated from sin, a process of becoming dedicated to God's righteousness, a process of being dedicated to God's righteousness. Now, what's the result then of sanctification? I mean, why are we teaching this series? Now, I want you to listen carefully, because here's another old sacred cow we got to deal with. The results of sanctification is holiness, or purification from guilt and the power of sin. That's the result of sanctification. The results of you separating yourself from those things that don't line up with the word, separating yourself from a way of thinking that doesn't line up with the word, separating yourself, we call it the world, separating yourself from worldly things, lustful things, things that disagree with God's word. You separate yourself from those things. Now, here's what it says. The results of that separation is going to lead you to something called holiness. Everybody shout holiness. Holiness. Now, that's another word that we've really confused. I mean, you know, again, we thought that holiness was just in the outer display. And we really have not come to the point of understanding what holiness is really about. So let's give a definition for holiness. And this is the foundation message for the series. Holiness, watch this. Holiness is being of one mind with God. Holiness is being of one mind with God. In other words, what God says is right, then you say it's right. What God says is wrong, then you say it's wrong. It's having the same mind that God has. Well, now you remember in Isaiah 55, verse 11, he begins to talk about my word shall not return unto me void, but it'll accomplish everything that I sent it to accomplish. But before that, he says,